Our next game for this episode is Saltfjord, which is published by Aporta Games by designers Christian Amundsen Osby and Eilif Svensson, with art by Peter Bartels and Jan Musu. I probably pronounced all of those wrong, but we've already spoken about this game a little bit.
We have in our Essenspiel overview episode. We decided to return to it because we feel like we have slightly fresher opinions. We played it a few more times since. You have played it now.
I hadn't played it at all.
When we were talking, and I was like, Elaine.
It has a fishing mini game.
Well, it has a fishing mini game.
You're going to love it.
But I did say you have to trust me. This is higher than Phoenix New Horizon, right? And I feel like this is gonna be a theme with the Euro games that have come out this year, where like initial impression, this is fun, I'm having a good time, and then the more you play it, you go,
I think the more that you play a game, the more you kind of compare it to other games you've already played, because in the first play and maybe the second play, you're still getting to learn the mechanisms of it, the flow of it, the what you can do, what you can't do, what affects what in the game, like what's good, what's less good to do, what's most effective. And then
it's fresh and exciting, right? Some sort of dating analogy inserted, I know,
I've never felt like that ever.
When you were dating,
no,
it's not fresh or
it's
exciting.
Terrifying.
Okay,
I mean,
it's
not
grimy
that I've been
and sweaty. No.
Why is it grimy and sweaty?
The opposite of fresh and exciting.
Oh, I see. No, just terrifying.
Okay, just terrifying.
Because if you like this person, what am I going to do next to make them dislike me? Anyway, should we move on? I don't know why we ended up
into Elaine's dating brain.
Why we ended.
Let's talk about a Euro game called Saltfjord.
Yeah.
Fun times. So, Saltfjord is a re-implementation of an older game called Santa Maria. Now, the one thing that's worth noting here, and the difference in change of setting, is that Santa Maria was meant to be a satirical depiction of colonialism, and most people didn't read it as that. Most people just read it as crass colonialism, and therefore the designers had to be like, no, it's satire. And the obvious counterpoint to that is, well, if it's satire, you have to work hard to make it evident that it's satire. Now, I'm not going to wade into this debate because I haven't actually played Santa Maria. One look at the cover and I was like, no thank you. So I don't want to engage with that. But this is obviously a more palatable presentation of a similar kind of game system, right? I know that it's not exactly the same, but the core principle, I believe, is the same. This is a daft.
It is quite
it's
daft.
A dafting
Some
game.
Of it is quite daft.
In it, you daft. This is a dry.
Nice.
Ruined it.
A dry stafting.
A dry stafting game. Indeed. It's a genre. Look, it's a small genre, but some people are really into it.
Of one game.
Yeah. Dice drafting game.
Yeah, there we go.
So in it, you will take a die. There's like all kinds of dice here. Oh, spinning the box. There's ones and sixes and orange and white, and
statistically I feel like we rolled a lot of fours. Like it would be unlikely to roll that amount of fours.
Keep coming up in our games, right? Yeah. And so one player will each turn take one of these dice, eliminating that option for another player, and do something with them. What they do is that when they take this die, they will apply it to their player board, and if it is a white die, it will go. So the player board is basically like a 6x6 grid, right? And at the top, you have the white dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the side, you have the orange dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so you will apply it where the die belongs. And then if it's a white die, you'll drag it down across your player board. And if it's an orange dice, you will drag it across your player board. And what that will do effectively is activate all the actions and bonuses that are on your player board. But wait, you can add more actions and or bonuses to that player board by building buildings on your player board, which are various polyamino-shaped tiles that you have to kind of finagle into position. And then on top of that, if you fill up a row or a column, it triggers all the bonuses that are on these tiles and starting to become a Euro game, right? So yeah, what you're effectively doing is you're drafting dice and or building up like your player board to do more actions, to draft more dice. Like you always draft the same number of dice, but like depending on the round, but you are getting more out of these dice.
Yes.
And also there's a fishing track where you can get various bonuses. So you might want to go fishing. And there's also a technology track, which increases the number of points you score at the end of the game if you reach all the way to the top, like adds different things you score points for, but also gives you various abilities, like makes you better at fishing. A lot of this game is resource conversion.
Yes.
Because you have this board that's basically different kinds of resources. Fish are the lowest tier. Then you have wood, wheat, and paper. And then suddenly they become planks, bags of wheat, and books. And then the very top is gold, which means that gold can be downgraded into any resource effectively. And you can upgrade by spending fish, or you can downgrade for free. So you're exchanging all these resources to make sure that you are paying for doing these actions that you are getting from the dice that you draft, and they go across your player board. And on this cycle repeats for 3 rounds. It's snippy, isn't it? It's quite... Yeah. It feels lighter than it should be.
Do you mean snip as in quick?
Yeah, quick, okay. And it feels lighter in rules than it should be. It's quite... Like, for this style of kind of medium weight Euro game, it feels medium too heavy, maybe, but like that too heavy is very small. More definitely closer to the medium. This isn't like a Terra Mystica.
No, right. Yeah.
It feels fast and kind of, easy to get into. Does that make sense? Because it is ultimately take a die and then you can pay for the things that you do with that die, or you can't, How did you feel about it?
I see. So I said, how did you feel about it? I see. No, I understand what you mean. It feels like it should be more complicated than it is. Is that what you mean? Yeah. I liked a lot about this game. I liked how there are 2 choices. When you're taking the dice, you're deciding what you can get out of it, but also what maybe do you want. There's a bit of hate drafting there, like do I take this dice so that you don't get the things that you want?
Yeah, so you're looking at what the other player's doing and what's happening on their player board.
But it doesn't feel like a really mean thing to do. It's because you still want to get something out of it, even if you take a dice that, isn't as good for you as you'd want it to be. And deciding where to put the things that you buy to upgrade your board and what dice are still out there. Can you make this action better by buying something first before you take the die that's left, right? And just, upgrading different things and putting different things on your board. And there's a lot of different things to do and to think about, like going fishing or upgrading your technologies or buying various different bits of the building. But it never feels overwhelming. The decision space never feels overwhelming because you're choosing one thing at a time. You're choosing, okay, which die do I want? What are the best actions I can get out of this die? What do I leave behind? What is not going to become available? Like, because right now we have four dice, 4 dice with the number 4. 2 are white, 2 are orange.
So definitely not a priority for anyone.
So that is not a priority. Yeah. So what is the priority? And you're thinking about that, but you're only thinking about that right then. And then, you have time to think about what other decisions you want to make.
And then if I am planning to take a certain dice, like a 5 white, like what is in that space and how much space does it have? Maybe I can take some other die or not even take another die, just spend some resources to build something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's exactly
build
what
that
I mean.
What's available on the board right now, does it combine with what I'm doing?
And the fact that you have a fisherman that can be used to activate an ability that hasn't been activated yet on your board.
As a free action
as
well.
a free action, which is such a big thing. It seems like a little thing, but it's such a big thing, because then you're thinking, okay, what do I not want to already activate, right? What do I not want to, what do I want to keep back for this fisherman? How can I best use all of these things together, all of these like cogs? How do they all fit together the best? Do I just mash them together and hope the best, or do I actually think about how they go together? And I think it's a very clever game, and I did enjoy it. But no, there's So first of all, I'm sorry to say, I don't like the art. Now, normally, like for me, art doesn't matter that much, provided
I like
that
the cover.
Yeah, the cover's nice. And I think that is my point, right? I don't mind so much about the art as long as it is functional. The iconography is functional. I just found it very overwhelming to look at the board, because a lot of it, it's very busy. And a lot of it is just artwork. Like, it's not, it's not an icon or anything that's going to matter in the game, but it's such visual noise. And, I like art that's busy. I like the kind of the Where's Wally type art.
But there's like interesting busying and dull busying,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, because all of it is mostly trees. And they're all the same.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a mountain, because you're on a mountain. So that for me, like, I don't want to say I disliked it, because I think it's very pretty, but I think for functionality, it took something away from the game.
I don't disagree with you. I think it's noisy rather than busy. I think noisy is a better descriptor. I know I said busy myself, but like thinking about it, noisy is what it reminds me of. And that visual noise adds up to a lot. For me, actually, I think one of the problems with it is that it starts to feel fairly rote in terms of what you're doing. My third play, I was like, I'm good on this puzzle now, I think. I played it. It was nice.
I feel the same. And I didn't feel like it...
And you've only played it twice,
I've only played it twice. I didn't feel like it does anything that is keeping me coming back to it. It's going to keep me coming back to it that another game doesn't do.
It feels very much like a solid Eurogame. And by the same designer team and publishers, there's also Revive that we played and we like.
Yes.
And that's a game I feel like I want to come back to because, like, in terms of gameplay, it just feels more dynamic and more exciting in what you can achieve and the directions that you can spring into, because there's a bit more of a tactical element in terms of how the game emerges through play. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't quite know what direction you're going to go into this game, but it depends on what tiles are revealed, what bonuses you manage to get, like kind of where the wind blows you almost, And here, like, you kind of choose where the wind blows, and like by examining the various endgame scorings on tech tracks, and you okay, well, I'll probably try to go up this track and get these types of actions, and maybe I'll succeed, maybe I won't, but like, it doesn't feel dynamic enough to engage me in further plays. Like, there's nothing unenjoyable about the plays that I've had of this game. I just, like, they were perfectly good Eurogame time, a puzzle, I'm sitting down, I'm crunching things a little bit, my brain is doing, the dusty cogs are spinning, the cobwebs are getting cleared. But after that, I was like, well, this was nice. I had a, perfunctory time.
I know what you mean. I don't think that I would want to keep playing this thinking, oh, I could do better at this bit next time. It didn't feel like that kind of game. Because you have some games where you didn't do great, but you think, oh, I've got an idea of where I not went wrong, but where I could improve, what I could do more.
An entirely different approach, right?
Or an entirely different approach. And I don't think it has that. But what it does have, what I did like about it, is that there is very few bits of hidden information. The dice are random because they're dice.
But then you
they're
draft
rolled.
them. Yeah,
but then
yeah.
you draft them.
Yeah.
You're not kind of assigned them. You're drafting them. You choose which dice you want to take. The only thing you can't see is the fish.
You're fishing.
But you can see the buildings you're going to be buying. And there's a variety of them. So you're not stuck with just one and you have to build this.
I like the fish. I like that the fish are hidden because
Right.
it's a little bit of like,
We'll get onto the fish. I'll get onto the fish.
All right. Okay.
You can see the end goals and the tech tracks, like exactly what you're going to get if you do this. I like those things because, sometimes if you don't know if you don't know what your goal is, you don't know how to achieve it. Right, because you don't know what the goal is. The fish, they add that element of hidden information. You go fishing, you don't know what's going to come up on the end of your pole.
You sort of do.
Your rod or whatever.
It's going to be resources or victory points. And you're hoping mostly it's victory points.
That doesn't make any sense. Why are you fishing for victory points?
Because you caught like a squid. Like, look at me. I'm a glorious fisher person.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, fine. And the deeper the water that you fish in, the better the fish.
Yeah.
That's true, I think, of real fishing.
Sure, I believe you.
I don't know. But I like that. Yeah, I like that too.
And the further the boat goes, the more victory points you get. But,
that's true,
but then you have to skip over spaces and not take the fish because it's otherwise pointless getting all the way there.
You can't fit them all in your boat, Efka.
Yeah. I mean, I just like the fishing minigame because I like when Euro games have a little hidden element.
Yeah.
So there's just a little bit of like, ooh, what am I going to get? Ooh, exciting. But in a way that still feels like fair,
I feel like it wasn't as hidden for you because I kept fishing and so you pick up two... they had the bonus where you pick up 2 tokens, look at one,
and
take
choose,
it,
and
choose.
put the other one back.
And I kept going, oh, don't want that one. And then so you'd be like, I don't want to fish there because clearly it's rubbish. So I feel like the hidden information was less.
Yeah, following the other person on the boat was like,
only if you
go ahead.
Only if they've got no poker face. I mean, if I'd have been like cagey with what was there, then you wouldn't have known what the fish were. Yeah.
We also played the advanced variant.
We did.
And we didn't like it.
No.
We liked it less than the base game.
No, it was claggier.
Yeah. So it adds this little like wagon on your player board that basically if your dice bumps into the wagon, then it pushes the wagon aside. And if the wagon goes over a thing, you get the thing, right? Which means that basically now your zippy kind of fun dry starting game.
Yeah, dry starting game.
Is becoming claggy and thinky and ponderous, and maybe you would want that. Maybe, especially if you really like analysis paralysis. Like just sitting there, like examining every die, and like if I take this die first, then this will push here, and then I take another die, and what actions will this activate, and what like it basically adds this like mind-numbing element of pre-planning that I really, really didn't appreciate. I understand why they labeled it advanced variant. I think they did that because they understood that it really bogs the game down.
But why is that advanced? Why is bogging something down advanced?
Because it's a polite way of saying the bogged down variant.
But why would that be a good thing?
I don't know.
And the other thing with that wagon was that sometimes it was so far away that you couldn't do anything to it anyway. Like there were very few times that I could move it usefully.
Because you planned poorly.
Because I planned poorly.
No,
that's why it's an advanced variant.
You were actually like moving your wagon way more than I was. I was just halfway through the game I was like, I don't like this, I'm going to ignore it.
The reward you get for moving it, I don't think it's worth it. Worth all that extra planning and brain ache.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like that's the thing. Like you're putting a lot more brain power to get like minimal increment advancements. And it's just like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. I want my zippy game back. Yeah. So did not like the advanced variant. Overall, I had a decent time with it.
It's a perfectly cromulent Euro game.
But I think it's leaving our house. Is that fair?
I think so. You've been enjoying the Talk Cardboard podcast, but you can't enjoy it anymore unless you subscribe. Full episodes can be found on your favourite podcast app, and bonus episodes are available to anyone supporting us on Patreon. Patreon.com/no pun included. See you soon.